Good morning, class. Today we are going to be working on graphs of proportional relationships. The I-CAN that we will be working on is I can recognize proportional relationships using tables and graphs. So our essential question will be, where can a unit rate be found in a table and a graph? Before we get started on today's lesson, let's just do a couple of reminders about what a graph is and is not. So when we have a graph, we typically have our x-axis is the one that is laying down, and our y-axis is the one that's pointing up and down. We will be working with and focusing on graphs that look like this versus graphs that have the 4 coordinates. We will be staying in the first quadrant, but most of the time you'll see quadrants that look like this. Again, with our x laying down and our y pointing up and down. Alright, so another reminder we need to have from our first chapter was an ordered pair. If I have an ordered pair, 1, 2, that means my x is a 1 and my y is a 2. So I come over here to my graph, and usually they'll have some type of name. I'm just going to call this A. And as you see, I'm going to come over 1 and then I'm going to go up 2. So I'm going to put a dot right there. And I'm going to label that A, just like it's labeled in the point. Alright, now let's look at our next slide. So here we have 6 roses to every 2 sunflowers. Turning this into a proportion means I have 6 roses to every 2 sunflowers. But what is my unit rate? So when I talk about unit rate, remember that second number needs to be 1, or if I'm turning it into a fraction, my bottom number needs to be 1. So I type in my calculator 6 divided by 2, and that gives me 3. So my unit rate is 3 roses to every 1 sunflower. Now, I have to be really careful when I come down here to the table. Now that I've thought about all of those things, when I come down here, I see it has my sunflowers labeled first. So, what I need to do then is remember that this was roses to sunflowers. So now, I look at my table and I say, well, when I have 1 sunflower, I should have 3 roses. And then it already has the 2 sunflowers to 6 roses. So as I'm looking through this, I look for other patterns that I can see. I see that in the column of sunflowers, it's increasing by 1 each time. When I look at my number of roses, I see that it's increasing by 3 each time. Alright, what else do I see? Well, I see that 1 times 3 will get me 3. 2 times 3 will get me 6. So if I keep that pattern up, 3 times 3 will get me 9, and 4 times 3 will get me 12. But that last one is 15. But the 15 is in the roses side. So what do I need to do? Well, I need to do the opposite of multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is divide. So I'm going to divide by 3, and that gives me 5. Okay, now that I have all of my ordered pairs, now I have to plot them. So, the first one is 0, 0. The next one is 1, 3, 2, 6, 3, 9, and 4, 12. And I can't go any further because my graph doesn't allow me to. This is where I get out the straight tool that we are using in class to graph these more appropriately. And we use our straight tool to make a line with an arrow at the end indicating that the line will go on. And that's what we did in class today. Thank you for listening.